The ongoing feud between Roy Jones Jr. and Floyd Mayweather has captured the attention of boxing fans worldwide, sparking heated debates about legacy, greatness, and the true essence of the sport. The tension stems from a series of public exchanges, with Roy Jones Jr. openly challenging Mayweather's claims to being the greatest boxer of all time, while Mayweather responds with sharp retorts, including social media posts highlighting Jones' career lowlights. This back and forth has evolved into a deeply personal rivalry, touching on issues of respect, manhood, and the differing philosophies each fighter brings to the sport. At its core, the conflict reveals contrasting views on what defines a boxing legend, whether it's an undefeated record, the quality of opponents faced, or the broader impact a fighter has on the world. The dispute began when Roy Jones Jr. appeared on various platforms, including the Stephen A. Smith Show, where he questioned Mayweather's place among boxing's all-time greats. Jones argued that Mayweather's undefeated record, while impressive, lacks the weight of facing truly elite opponents in their prime. He pointed out that Mayweather's most notable victory, against Canelo Alvarez, stood out as an exception, with many of his other fights carefully selected to minimize risk and maximize financial gain. Jones suggested that Mayweather's career was built more on crafting an image of invincibility than on consistently proving himself against the most dangerous fighters of his era. This critique struck a nerve with Mayweather, who responded by posting videos on social media, showcasing moments from Jones' career where he was knocked out, emphasizing the brutal losses to Antonio Tarver and others. Mayweather's actions were seen as an attempt to undermine Jones' credibility, framing him as a fighter who couldn't withstand the pressure in his later years. For Jones, the issue goes beyond mere trash talk. His criticism of Mayweather is rooted in a deep respect for the sport's history and its pioneers, particularly Muhammad Ali. Jones took particular offense to Mayweather's claim that he surpassed Ali as the greatest boxer of all time. To Jones, Ali represents more than just a fighter. He embodies the heart of boxing through his courage, charisma, and willingness to stand for something greater than himself. Ali's impact transcended the ring, as he fought for civil rights, stood up for the marginalized, and united people across races and religions. Jones believes that Mayweather's focus on wealth, fame, and an undefeated record pales in comparison to Ali's legacy, which was built on sacrifice and principle. By dismissing Ali's greatness, Mayweather, in Jones' view, disrespects the very foundation of the sport and the fighters who paved the way for modern success. The feud escalated when Jones suggested that Mayweather's career was more about self-promotion than pure competition. He contrasted their approaches, noting that his own motivation has always been about the love of boxing itself, not chasing online attention or building a brand. Jones emphasized his willingness to face any opponent, even at the age of 56, to prove his mettle in the ring. This stance underscores his identity as a fighter who thrives on genuine competition, regardless of the stakes. He challenged Mayweather to a fight, dismissing the idea of an exhibition and even suggesting a street fight, signaling that the dispute had become deeply personal. For Jones, Mayweather's taunts, particularly the highlight reels of his knockouts, were an attack on his manhood and legacy, prompting a fiery response that resonated with fans who admire his fearless attitude. Jeff Mayweather, Floyd's uncle, weighed in on the controversy, questioning why Jones would take such offense to Mayweather's remarks. He argued that Jones initiated the conflict by publicly criticizing Floyd, suggesting that the challenge stemmed from jealousy over Mayweather's fame and financial success. Jeff pointed out the significant weight difference between the two fighters, noting that Jones, who competed at higher weight classes, would have a physical advantage over Mayweather, who typically fought at 147 to 150 pounds. He dismissed comparisons to Mayweather's exhibition bout with Logan Paul, a much larger opponent, and suggested that Jones' call for a street fight was an emotional reaction rather than a practical challenge. Jeff's comments framed the feud as a clash of egos, with Jones provoked by Mayweather's ability to remain a dominant figure in the sport long after his prime. The boxing community has been quick to take sides, with some supporting Jones' perspective and others defending Mayweather's achievements. Joe Rogan, a prominent commentator, praised Jones' unique fighting style, describing it as one of the most creative and dominant in boxing history. Rogan recalled Jones' prime years, when his speed, reflexes, and unorthodox techniques made him nearly untouchable. He cited a fight against Vinny Pazienza, where Jones didn't take a single punch in a round, as evidence of his extraordinary skill. Rogan's endorsement adds credibility to Jones' challenge, framing him as a legendary figure whose prime was defined by brilliance, even if his later career included setbacks. This perspective contrasts with Mayweather's carefully managed career, which prioritized avoiding losses over taking risks. Max Kellerman, another prominent voice in boxing, echoed Jones' criticism, arguing that Mayweather's claim to being the greatest of all time is undermined by his selective approach to opponents. Kellerman noted that while Mayweather faced many great fighters, he often waited until they were past their prime or less dangerous. For example, his long-awaited fight with Manny Pacquiao came years after Pacquiao's peak, ensuring a less risky matchup. Kellerman compared Mayweather to Rocky Marciano, who also retired undefeated but was never seriously considered the greatest due to the quality of his opposition. While acknowledging Mayweather's skill and victories over notable fighters, Kellerman argued that his focus on pay-per-view revenue and protecting his record detracts from his legacy compared to fighters who consistently faced the best. In contrast, Michael J. White offered a different perspective, likening Mayweather to martial arts legend Bruce Lee and Roy Jones himself. White highlighted Mayweather's technical mastery, discipline, and ability to control fights through precision and timing. He pointed out similarities in how all three figures used deceptive movements and unorthodox techniques to outsmart opponents. White's comparison elevates Mayweather's status, framing him as not just a boxer but a martial artist who has perfected his craft through relentless dedication. This perspective challenges Jones' narrative, suggesting that Mayweather's success is rooted in skill and strategy, not just careful matchmaking or self-promotion. The public nature of this feud has only amplified its intensity, with fans and analysts dissecting every comment and counter-comment. Jones' insistence that Mayweather's highlights pale in comparison to his own reflects his confidence in his legacy as one of boxing's most electrifying performers. He argues that his knockouts and dominant performances, even if followed by losses, were more thrilling than Mayweather's often defensive, decision-heavy fights. Jones' willingness to step into the ring, even at an advanced age, underscores his belief that true greatness is proven through action, not just words or records. His challenge to Mayweather is not just about settling a personal score but about defending the values he holds dear: respect for the sport's history, a commitment to competition, and the courage to face any opponent. Mayweather, for his part, has built his career on the image of invincibility. His 50-0 record, strategic fight selections, and massive financial success have made him a polarizing figure. While some admire his business acumen and defensive brilliance, others, like Jones, see his approach as lacking the heart of a true fighter. Mayweather's decision to highlight Jones' knockouts was a calculated move to shift the narrative, reminding fans of Jones' vulnerabilities while reinforcing his own untouchable persona. However, this tactic backfired to some extent, as it only fueled Jones' determination to prove himself and sparked further debate about their respective legacies. The idea of a fight between Jones and Mayweather, whether in the ring or as a street fight, has captured the imagination of fans. Jones believes such a matchup would be a spectacle, pitting two of the most entertaining and skilled fighters of their eras against each other. He argues that it would not only be a test of skill but also a chance to give fans something to rally behind during challenging times. The notion of two boxing icons facing off, even years past their primes, carries a nostalgic appeal, reminiscent of classic rivalries that defined the sport's golden eras. Jones' willingness to risk his health for the sake of entertainment and legacy reflects his deep connection to boxing and its fans. The broader context of this feud touches on larger themes within boxing, including how greatness is measured and what it means to be a champion. For Jones, greatness is about taking risks, facing the best, and leaving a lasting impact on the sport and its fans. His admiration for Muhammad Ali stems from Ali's ability to transcend boxing, using his platform to advocate for change and inspire millions. In contrast, Mayweather's focus on personal success, financial, reputational, and statistical, represents a more modern approach, where branding and marketability often take precedence. This clash of philosophies underscores the divide between the two fighters, with Jones championing the soul of boxing and Mayweather embodying its commercial evolution. As the feud continues to unfold, it remains unclear whether a fight will ever materialize. Jones' age and Mayweather's reluctance to engage in high-risk bouts make a professional matchup unlikely, though an exhibition could be a possibility. Regardless, the war of words has already achieved what both fighters likely intended. It has reignited interest in their legacies and sparked conversations about the sport's past, present, and future. For Jones, it's a chance to defend his values and remind the world of his contributions to boxing. For Mayweather, it's another opportunity to assert his dominance and keep his name in the spotlight. Whatever the outcome, this rivalry has added another chapter to the storied history of boxing, proving that the sport's biggest battles are often fought outside the ring.